Hey, I know how to get people into this.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Borough of Monaca, regular scheduled meeting for October 27, 2015 to order. Please stand for prayer and flag salute. Mr. DeMarco.
Thank you, Vice President McKay. Almighty God and Father, we ask that you inspire us tonight to do what is right for the Borough of Monaca in our decisions and in our conduct and behavior. Look over our police, our employees who work for the borough out there every day, keep them safe, away from all harm. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Sonny, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Snyder,
One's over. Will not attend.
Mrs. Rossi. Here. Mr. May. Vice President McKay.
Present.
Mr. Michael.
Present.
Mr. Boer.
Present.
Mr. Zigarelli.
Present.
Mr. Wilson.
Present.
Mr. Nichol.
Here.
President DeMarzio.
Present.
Mayor Annaline.
Present.
Okay, at this time, we'll waste management and trash recycling collection. Mr. Leon.
Yeah, I guess, Mr. Chris.
Hello, Council Mario. Thank you for giving Waste Management the opportunity to speak this evening. As you know, I guess 1st of November, we're going to switch the one service area from the alley to the curb, okay? Which in my opinion, and I think Council really did the right thing and the right move. We're not the first municipality that have done this your size with what happens in the alleys with the damage, with the larger trucks, and you have to maintain the alleys long in the winter with just maintaining with the snow, etc. Keep them so the trucks can go up and down. Pretty much open now to any questions that you might have. I know we in the past we did have some service issues. Okay, if you would like to discuss. Okay, and I think most of these have probably occurred in this region. Okay, but just open it up for discussion.
Mr. Rossi. Mr. DeMarzio.
Yeah, I have one real quick. Mr. Barber left, so I'm going to speak on his behalf. Mario, Don, I think you know the area we're talking about, where the trash is missed every now and then. And I wanted to know why, after repeated attempts to have your organization not miss that area, it continues to be missed.
You know what area it is?
I don't know offhand. It's where his daughter
Down
brought it.
17th Street, Virginia Avenue and 17th Street alley. Yeah, it's towards the upper end of town, Virginia Avenue, one of the alleys, right between 17th and 16th.
Yes.
Okay, well, that is, if we can't get there first thing in the morning, it's hard to get. Now, it's that one alley where the road lies. If those people in the front was moving, if they would just move it to the other side, it'd be a lot easier for us. And there's only 2 houses on Pennsylvania Avenue. If they had actually put it over on Pennsylvania Avenue, it would be a lot easier to service. Because we already have to back in, I think that's Virginia right there. We already have to back in to service them. We're only servicing when we're backing in the right side. Now, the other people are putting it out back. If they both put it out front, then the 2 houses on Pennsylvania put it out there, then we could not have to back up on that. Because we actually have to pull into the one way to get our truck in there.
It's not Virginia, it's Washington.
Okay, the Washington right there.
I have a question in regards to that comment. You stated if the residents would move their garbage to the opposite side, it would help you better. What is deterring you from why you have to back in, and why can't you make that turn? Is our road too small?
It's a dead end.
So
So we either have to back in or back out.
So why, I understand back in or back out, but why moving it to the other side, how would that help you?
Because where that particular alley is at, It's right on the bend where, when you come off of Pennsylvania and right there to go down on the, across the bridge, we have to pull into there. And if we're not there first thing in the morning, there's too much traffic, and I have to send a smaller truck over there to get it, and he still has a hard time trying to get in and get out.
Where you're talking about a block away. Yeah, that's another issue, as opposed to where, Mr. DeMar is referring. Be on the other side of 17th, between 17th and 16th Street.
I'd have to look into it more. I know that area right there has always been
Yeah, and
a
we,
problem with
yeah,
this right there.
with the truck backing into
Yeah.
it, could be in a dead end. Yeah, the alley, that repeatedly, missed, and his daughter lives on that street. It would be between 17th and, kind of be behind Yolanda's restaurant. It would be that area.
Okay,
And I'm not sure why that was being missed, but
yeah, I don't know.
it's one of those repeated.
There's only one alley, and it's not really behind. We don't even go behind Yolanda. It's a
It
street.
would be two behind, yeah, that block.
Okay, I honestly have to look into it more if you guys could have a correct address, then I could address it a lot better.
But I guess to my question is the size of the truck. Are you stating the truck being used is too big?
No, it's not too big, it's for the traffic. Yeah, in order to, I mean, no matter what truck we have to back in to that section right there. And just the way the truck's, the road's designed right there, it's unsafe for any truck to be. I mean, as you know, coming out and you're trying to look for cars coming around, it's even dangerous for people coming right there.
Okay, just one clarification on the size truck.
Okay, Mr. Nichol?
No.
Mr. Wilson, I guess you're good?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
I'll be first to say that I'm a huge proponent of getting it out of the alleyway. I personally own 2 homes on Heights of Monaca, and my one property is completely destroyed over it. I'll be replacing my garage. I submitted a claim with your organization that was denied because there was no witness to see it. I believe the trucks were being used at that time were way too big. I stood out there, took pictures numerous times, watched your company drive around my property as they see me out there with cameras, actually followed them all the way over to Ambridge. So I'm a big proponent on getting onto the street because I believe that it is not only messing our alleys up, but a lot of properties too. So, I just want to make that note.
Mr. Zebrelli? Mr. Boo? Mr. Michael?
Nothing.
Okay, also, I just had a complaint on which called in to me about a railroad tie wall the trucks went up over.
Yeah, I called him and I'm taking care of that
Okay.
currently.
All right, that's what I just wanted to. Okay, anything else for these guys? Mr. Demarza?
Thank you, Jeff, Mr. McKay. There's another reason why we're doing this. We have a greater goal, greater vision, and it's just part of it. I personally, looking down the road here, in terms of, I don't think we recycle enough in Monaca. And what I'd like to do is, you gentlemen aren't in, up in Cranberry, are you?
Currently, no.
No. I know they have a specific design container. If we go with this, complete Monaca front area, we're probably gonna give you some access. If the plan works out right, you'd have access straight down one side of the street. But we're still trying to work the kinks out of this thing, how to make it work. And you should be able to use, I think, one operator per vehicle, and that's it, to be able to do it. But what I'm looking towards is, I don't even know if the concept exists, is credits for recyclables, in order to get people to recycle more, to offset their garbage. Follow what I'm saying? If you put out X number of dollars in recyclables, so we're doing something that's eco-friendly, in turn would help offset the cost, the rising cost of waste. So I don't know if it's something that you gentlemen would entertain down the road, but that's certainly something we're looking hard at here in Monaca. And I just wanted to enlighten you to it, as to really why we're doing this. And it's probably gonna be to your advantage if we do the entire community with Front Street pickup. So, just thought I'd put it out there for you.
Not only Cranberry does it, pretty much all the North Hills co-op has the recycling, which we call automation.
Yes.
Okay, the South Hills does it, you have Peters Township, you have Scott Township, you have Upper St. Clair, they started it this past year. All the residents are very receptive to it, okay? You're giving them a new toy to play with, and a nice 65 or 96 gallon container.
Right.
Okay, it really encourages the residents to recycle a little more. It really does cut down on even the tonnage on the solid waste.
And I'll tell you gentlemen, and I know these guys have heard it ad nauseum here. I was in Italy in 2013, and they recycle everything, even chicken bones. So you have everything, but everything is segregated too, in terms of metals, plastics, paper, and organics. So when I came back, and I talked to my wife about it, I said, let's see what we could do here. And really pay attention to what we put in the garbage and what we put in the recycle container. We are putting out, just between the two of us, 3 recycling containers and a half a bag of garbage per week. So it can be done. And I'm just saying, we're putting a lot in landfills where we could probably reuse and recycle.
I'm doing the same. Okay, the only difference is, okay, at this time, okay, we have the recycle, okay, we have single stream now, so you don't have to separate the recycling material. All right, unfortunately, at this time, we don't have the composting for the next step, when you have the chicken wings and the food process. Okay, we're one step at a time.
Right. Well, this is it, and this is why we're doing what we're doing now. Especially because of the alleys that are getting tore up in our heights. So that's a good place to start.
But I think you're doing, Council, you're doing the right decision. That's just my opinion. Just Avalon Borough, if you know Harry Fillmore, and between Avalon and Bellevue, et cetera, they already did the right thing. And, you know, unfortunately for yourself, you know, it's going to be a rough 1 week, 2 week, or a month, all right, with the residents, but it'll be done.
Okay, if there's nothing else, thank you for coming in, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll move on to visitor section. Comments in regards to items on the agenda. Anyone would like to speak at this time, please step to the podium, state your name, address, and reason for being here.
Anthony Santilli, 1050 Linden Street. In regards to this garbage pickup, I know a lot of people are for it, but did you take into consideration how heavy these trucks are, what they're going to do to our streets? There's a lot of old people up in the heights who can't move their garbage cans from the front to the back. The snow, when they plow our streets, you have to plow your way from your sidewalk to the street. How you can expect these people to plow in front of the garbage cans? Another thing is, whenever people are going to work, they gotta sit behind the garbage truck and wait, because now they're not in the alleys, they're on the main roads. When they smash our garbage, where they pick up a bag of garbage and throw it in the truck, and it breaks and falls in the middle of the street, who's gonna clean that up? Another thing is, whenever they, what was it? There was a couple more things I wanted to add to that. But it's nonsense. I don't think they should be there. Matter of fact, I got minutes from March 27th of 2012 right here, because my street is collapsing. They came and put markings on it in 2012. How long does that take to fix? I mean, you know, our streets are getting pretty bad up there, and I don't think a garbage truck should be on them. I really don't. How do you expect these old people to bring their garbage from the front to the back? And you know another thing, people are going to work, they're gonna leave their garbage cans there, they're gonna sit there, the wind's gonna blow, they're gonna end up in the middle of the street until they come home in the evening to move them. So, you know, this is, to me, it's a bad situation. I mean, it's something to think about, you know. I would never do it. Those trucks are way too heavy. If they're damaging our alleys, what do you think they're gonna do to our streets? Something to think about, that's all.
Well, like I said, we discussed it before, and a lot of the alleys don't have a base, like the main streets do, like some of the downtown alleys. And it's been talked about round and round, you know. And there is a program that we're trying to get together to redo, you know, a lot of the streets, and that, hopefully that'll be getting done next year. So, yeah, it's been talked about different things about those issues, you know, with the elderly and stuff like that. And you know, my mother has the same problem, but she says, I'll just put my cans here and then move them out. But snow's a problem everywhere. You
I'll be
know.
honest with you, if that's the case, I'm building a rack in my front yard and I'm putting it right there and it's staying there. I don't care. You know, that's gonna look corny. People's gonna do that, I guarantee it. I already talked to some people and they said, I'm putting mine up there and they're staying up there. And that's what's gonna happen. And it's good, the town's gonna look like crap. So, you know, what are you gonna do?
Do you realize there's a lot of people in Monaca that already have front yard? I have to put mine out, John, Mayor, you guys.
That's because you don't have an alley.
Oh,
Well, you have no choice then. We have a choice.
but it's front yard pickup and it
But we
works.
have a choice. You don't. You don't have an alley to go through.
A lot of
So,
people, don't even put their bags in cans.
and that's another thing. Okay, it says it has to be in a sealed container.
Supposed to be.
Just like you said, a lot of people don't do that. And now that's gonna be out in the street. Animals are gonna come in there, they're
And they'll
gonna rip it
receive, and they'll
apart.
receive a citation.
Yeah.
They'll receive a citation.
All right, well, I just think it's a bad idea.
And it's, we heard you.
I'm hearing the same thing. Dennis
Can
Sullivan,
you give us your name and address, please?
Dennis Sullivan, 1057 Linden Street. Here's the same thing, our front road's collapsing. You put a garbage truck on it, it's done. I mean, it's raised and it sinks, raised and it sinks every year. Either you got a leak at the reservoir, making our road soft, but my backyard sinks. You gonna put a garbage truck on it? The garbage truck, only reason why they turned the alley up, they heard the photo, the air brakes on, and side the truck. That's the only reason why your alley sinks going up. Many times. And then they don't take half the garbage out come anyway. They leave bags of mine all the time. What do they do? Carry them all back in the back again?
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak at this time to council? Okay, no one else, then we'll close the business section for the agendas. Communications, Mr. Lim?
No communication.
No communications. Minutes, motion to approve regular minutes of October 13th, 2015.
So moved.
Mr. Bitter makes the motion. Mr. Zurley seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Fiscal and contractual motion to approve monthly bills.
So moved.
Mr. Bitter makes the motion, Mr. Zigarelli seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public Works Committee Chairman's report, Councilman Wilson.
Yes, we had a meeting this past Tuesday. Unfortunately, only one other member of the committee arrived on time, and then another member arrived 30 minutes late, so no votes could be taken, but we did discuss the correction and maintenance of our wells, as well as discussing a booster pump for the water tower. And also in regards to attempting to get paid on our paving for this year. Very brief meeting without all the members in attendance.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Wilson? Mr. Michael?
Where are we there with 16?
I'll refer to Mr. Leon. I have not had an opportunity to speak to him since Thursday when I'll stop down and see no hydrone. I'll refer to Mr. Leon, please.
They were in the process of putting the pump in today, was to be installed. I think they have a little bit of setback. It hopefully will be in operation tomorrow.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Wilson? Okay, if not, we'll move on. General Government Committee, Chairman's report, Councilman Booter.
There is no report.
Okay, no report from Councilman Booter. We'll move on to motion to approve ordinance number 944/2012 property maintenance code.
So moved.
Mr. Brewer makes the motion.
Second.
Mr. Zigarelli seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to approve ordinance number 945 vacant property ordinance.
So moved.
Mr. Brewer makes the motion.
Second.
Mr. Zigarelli seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to renew contract Beaver County Humane Society for contracted animal control services in the amount of $100 per month.
So moved.
Mr. Brewer makes a motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Zigarelli, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Jeff, 1 second. I had a question in regards to that. Is Mr. Leon, is there a report that we would be receiving on what work they provided?
It's with their invoice on the hours that they patrolled the borough. So far, there's been nothing detailed to it other than patrolling, 2 hours this week and 2 hours another week. I haven't seen anything of significant, but if you want to see that invoice, we can make sure it's included.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious that, more so if they do have to go get animals of some kind. Maybe we can see if there's repeat offenders of domestic pets that continue to get loose, maybe just something.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Don, is that it? Okay. I'll move on the council and governments report. Councilman Brewer.
I don't have anything at this time, but Mario, you announced again about Thursday.
Just once again, we're having the first joint Beaver County Municipal Conference on Thursday at Old Stonewall. I believe several of you responded on attending. If anyone else is still available, please let Dawn or myself know so we can get you registered. It should be an exciting event. I think we're over somewhere between 175 to 200 municipal attendees and vendors.
I just wanted clarification on it. Is Monaca hosting that event?
I am a co-chairperson for it, but Monaca is not hosting it. It's a joint, it's all the boroughs, all the townships, and council of governments.
Okay. Okay, moving on, we'll go to Monaca Voluntary Community Outreach, Mrs. Majors. And downtown business when you're done with your first report.
Okay, thank you. I just want to report, we're just about done with fall cleanup downtown Monaca. Ms. Honig, I neglected to let you know there is a bag to be picked up at CJ Mansion. There are also about 4 bags at the bottom of 14th Street Hill on one of the islands. We cleaned 14th Street Hill today. So all the roads have been done again, and we've done cleaning up downtown. So we should be finishing up here very shortly with the kids and take a break hopefully until about March, please God. Anyway, but I'm very proud of the work the kids did this year, and this is through the program under the community outreach with the community service. The kids worked very hard. In 4 years, I'd say it was the best group we had and the most dedicated group of kids that saw some value in what they were doing. And it makes me very happy to let you know that we received a certificate from the Ocean Conservancy Coastal Cleanup Program, international program, for the cleanup and work that's been done here in Monaca to help keep Pennsylvania beautiful. So I don't know if you'd like to have this, but I was very happy that their work was recognized this year. There was quite a bit of pickup with that. And if I may, I'd like to move on to the Downtown Business Authority. I am going to speak on my observation. I cannot speak for the authority because we have not been able to really hold a meeting since spring. We have not had a quorum to conduct any business whatsoever. We've had informal discussions. And I am at a point with what we need in this town, and it's just my observation or thoughts. I think we would do well to dissolve the Monaca Business Authority because we don't have the business people showing up, putting any effort into it, any interest into it. I am not a business person. I truly don't belong on there. I question my leadership ability with that group, that I cannot inspire people to come and stay with it and stick with it. They offer their opinions and they walk out the door and nothing can get done. So I think to benefit Monaca. I also believe if I'm going to make that criticism, I need to have thought out something that would be positive for the community. And I think in place of a business authority, we would do well to consider a development or redevelopment authority or program, committee, whatever you want to call it, where it represents not only the business owners in town, if they're interested, but community citizens who are enlightened about development and the forward progress of this community. And you would not have to limit it, therefore, to just business. But it could reflect the growth in housing, downtown business, industrial. I think it would do us well to look at that. So that is my report this evening.
Okay, any questions from Mrs. Majors?
Yeah, Patty, if we would get into that, I mean, we couldn't get a quorum for a vote for the authority. What's your take on, would you just present the council then for decision-making, or what do you have in mind?
I'm thinking of a formal committee that works with Mr. Leone and with council, that shares a vision of what we need in the community. They have a meeting, and my first thought is people who are educated, people who may be in development, different areas, sustainable practices, building, architecture. We need enlightened people to be doing this with us. I feel that if you have that kind of a group or a committee, these people will be dedicated, they will show up at meetings, you would be able to at least take a vote and present it, but it should always be presented to council. But as it is right now, as an authority, we can't take a vote. I'm saying this in fun. I was chastised and told that it is not a dictatorship. And the individual was correct, because I was just trying to move something forward that really I couldn't do without a vote. But if I can't get them out there and the business owners don't care enough to come back, how do you do anything? It's not a productive authority for the borough. So I'm suggesting that we look deeper and maybe get something developed that will help this borough. And like I said, not only just in the core business district, we're going to look at business overall in Monaca, the operations and construction, and I think new housing, things that are needed in this community for growth and sustainability. And I just don't think the business authority has enough ability to do it or interest to do it. Mr. Boer, I thank you because you're always at those meetings. And the last meeting, it was Mr. Manning, Mr. Boer, and myself. I will say Mr. Dalton tried to help us a month before this past month. He went door to door to all the businesses and tried to get them there. He got 2 or 3 businesses to show up, in addition to the Hall of Fame representatives came. And there was a good bit of discussion about the parking issues and suggestions that we wanted to put in front of council. But again, we couldn't do anything because we didn't even have a quorum of our board members there to take a vote. So this is my opinion as an individual, not as speaking on behalf of the authority. They may not agree with me, but this is my opinion.
President DiMarzio, did you have something?
Well, all I want to say was, rather than leave it out here on the floor and people giving their subjective analysis of what needs to be done, I'd like to have a discussion with Mr. Leone about this before we proceed anywhere with it. There are reasons why we do have a downtown business authority. I understand, and I was on it myself. It's hard to get off the dead center, but I think we really need to sit down and have a discussion before we do anything.
Agreed. But you really don't have an authority when they don't show up. You have it on paper, and that's all you have. It's not functional. We need something functional in this town.
Okay, any other questions?
Appreciate your effort and your honesty.
Thank you. I don't mean to come in and bust your chops. I know that you're all trying to do this for the community. I know how hard you're working at it. I think we just need to change our focus on our end. And within the business community, I think it's important, because we can't sit here and say, well, if we get a cracker plant or if Shell comes, it's not going to do us any good to sit here on our hands for another 2 or 3 years. We have to take the step in faith and step forward and start helping ourselves. And I thank you all for all that you do and the support you've given.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Major. Okay, moving on, Mr. Leon, Manager's Report.
Yes, nothing's listed on your agenda, but we've just been moving forward with the CJ Mansion HVAC contract, and actually I just got some documents from the architect on that, but didn't want to present it to you until I had a little more time to look at it. But the cost is looking at around $125,000. We originally budgeted that project for about $110,000, so it did come in at $220 something was the low bid, so we had to do some tweaking and such. So once I have time to look at it a little bit more, I'll be prepared to present it to you at the next meeting. We had the pre-bid meeting for Airline Park. There was a pretty lot of interest in contractors there, and that's moving forward. We had the pre-bid meeting for the solar array system at the reservoir, and we had 2 contractors submit proposals for that, and we'll be reviewing that in general government and making a recommendation to the board on that project as well. Other than that, I mentioned the event this Thursday, and I'll save the rest of my report for next meeting. There's a lot of new stuff that really don't have opportunity to put together for this evening.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Leon. For our solicitor's report, Mr. Yurt.
Yes, at the appropriate time, I'd like to go into an executive session to discuss with you the ongoing issue with DEP.
Okay.
And I sent to Mario a memo that, I don't know if it was circulated, but I asked Dawn to make copies about the parking lot.
Okay, Dawn has them, we'll get them here shortly. Anything else, Mr. Yurt?
Nope.
Okay. New business, Mr. Michael.
Nothing.
Mr. Brewer.
Nothing.
Mr. Zerrilla. Mr. Wilson.
Not this time.
Mr.
Nothing.
Mayor.
At this time.
President DeMarzio.
Nothing.
Ms. Ross. Okay. Any old business? We'll be getting back to that sheet here shortly. We'll move on.
As far as most of you have heard, but for the public as well, it was our understanding that Youngblood paving should be coming in on Monday. That's what we're being told.
Okay, we'll move to citizens' comments, complaints, and compliments at this time. Anyone wishing to speak? State your name and address and reason for being here.
Anthony Santilli, 1050 Linden Street. I forgot I wanted to ask, whenever you go to do a decision like this, how come you don't contact all the taxpayers and ask their opinion instead of 12 of you people making the decision?
That's what you elect them for.
That's basically why we've been elected. We can't take every decision we make.
Well, no, but I mean, this is
It would never get done.
But this is affecting hundreds of people up on a hill, and 12 of you are making the decision, and we're the ones that's paying the taxes. I mean, it just don't seem right. I mean, why don't, on something like that, why can't you do like a vote? You know, send a letter out to everybody, get their opinion. You know, I don't think it's right. You know, think about it.
Yeah.
That's your say something.
Mr. Sente, I understand you're frustrated, this has changed. okay? But you're acting like Monaca Borough is doing something that's novel, that it's never been done anywhere else. I mean, you look around at all of our, most of our neighboring communities, they've been bringing their trash to their front yards since the beginning of trash collection.
I don't know why.
And you know, the sky's falling in Monaca because we're requesting, the decision was made to protect our alleys from the continual destruction that goes through every winter, okay? Yes, we don't plow them, they're not on our major thing, okay?
Plow mine.
Most of our alleys are not plowed, all right? We have a lot of hills in the terrain's completely different than downtown, than the Heights, okay? They're not gonna drive that heavy vehicle down an alley that's not plowed and end up driving it through a garage, okay? So what happens is their alleys don't get picked up, okay? Might not, your alley's relatively flat. There's other alleys in the Heights that are steep, okay? Those residents don't get their trash. And sometimes, depending on the weather conditions, it might be 2 to 3 weeks that they can't get down that alley. So you've got residents in the hills that their trash isn't getting picked up for 3 weeks, okay? This is a solution to the problem, in preserving our alleys and getting residents' trash collected. Bringing it to the front curb is not a new idea. Center, Hopewell, Cranberry, you know, these towns all, and you know, all the borough's gonna look like crap with trash in the front. Drive through Center, drive through you don't see trash in their front yards. They put it out, it's collected, they bring it back. You know, I think there's a little bit of overreaction, and you know, once you adapt, I don't think it's gonna be a bad thing. And I hope you look at the pros. This wasn't a decision that was just made from the hip or the cuff. There was a lot of thought, and it was a tough decision for them. You heard Mr. DiMarzio talking about where trash is gonna force us to go with automation. You're not gonna have garbage trucks with garbage men in the back. It's gonna be automated, okay? Would automated collection work in an alley? Probably not. So it's coming to where it's gonna be front collection, you know, it's gonna be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, but it's coming. And there's already municipalities that are very progressive that are doing it in that manner.
You know, I'm more so concerned because they're so damn heavy and they're gonna.
The roads are constructed to handle heavier weights than the alleys.
Someday come up to the front of my house, I want to show you again since 2012 what's happened. And it's just getting worse. And I guarantee you, the trucks going there, next year you're gonna be replacing that whole corner street. I guarantee it.
Thank you.
Actually,
Mr. Wilson?
In regards to, like Mr. Leon said, this wasn't off the cuff, or this was discussed, there was an advertisement, it went on in the newspaper, alerting all the residents, anybody who has a newspaper, it was on our website. So residents were alerted. I would like to ask you a simple question, how did you find out about the meeting tonight? If you
I went on the internet and found it.
Right, and there's what, 5,000 other residents in the borough of Monaca, and it's the same thing. We can call every resident, we can tell them, we advertise for it, we did our proper due diligence to get it out to the public, but the public doesn't show up, unfortunately, and that's why they elected us to.
But be honest.
One second, please let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
They elected us to be their voice. And people call down to the office daily, call Mr. Leon or speak to a council member, and council members repeatedly tell them when the meetings are. And 99% of the meetings, it's the same 5 people in here that are not employed by the borough that show up. And it's actually a little bit less than that today. So I don't think that it's Monaca's borough's inability to reach these individuals. I don't think that it's a problem as much as everyone thinks it is. Now, I know there's a lot of social media out there, and one of the social media websites actually broadcasts our meetings by video. So Monaca's actually trying to do more to reach out to the individuals that are borough of Monaca, but we can't bring them down here. They don't tell us, we don't know. We can only make the decision on what we hear from individuals that we speak to and have communication with from individuals in the office or workers here, so.
Yeah, because I didn't know about it until I got the letter in the mail that you're gonna have to move them out. Then, by then, the first meeting you had of the month, first of the month here was too late. So I figured I'll come to this one and speak my piece.
And believe me, I'm not discouraging you from coming, I'm just trying to give you an idea.
You know,
It's hard to reach 5,000 people that,
I don't like to complain, I don't like cause problems, but, you know, when there is something, I like to let you know my opinion. I just-
appreciate that.
Mr. Michael.
Thank you.
Mr. Santelli,
Yes,
thanks for being here,
thank you.
because Mr. Wilson's right. There is a lack of attendance of taxpayers at our meetings, okay? We don't mind people coming up, ask the board. I bring complaints here, and I'll be quite honest with you. I'm getting to a point where I know I'm a representative, but don't complain to me and then tell me you gotta go to your grandkid's soccer game. Set your priorities. If it's that big of an issue, come to the meeting. And if you would like to be one of the 10 people that make decisions, in all honesty, feel free to put your name on a ballot. Any taxpayer can do it, and anybody with anything to contribute to the business of running a municipality, I would deeply appreciate. So, yeah, please come back.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, anybody else at this time? Okay, no one else, then we'll close the visitor section. We will be going to executive session, but we're just gonna make these announcements real quick. Trick or treat scheduled for Thursday, October 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. The Halloween parade, October 31st, Saturday, 11 a.m. We'll be lining up on 8th Street going to 13th and then to St. John's. Beginning Thursday, November 5th, the Monaca residents placing their trash and recycling in front, as we discussed. And the 2016 budget meeting number 2 will be on Tuesday, November 27th, 7 p.m. And at this time, I'd like to, okay,
That's not correct. That,
November, I said November 27th.
yeah, I think it's November 2nd. No,
No, it's the next week after
it was
that.
3rd, 10th. No, that was,
It's the 10th.
the 10th would be our, no, we're gonna have to meet before that.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be switched to either the 2nd or the 4th would be the next one, because the 3rd is election.
We said the 2nd or 4th last meeting.
I'm sorry, I thought we already advertised for these meetings.
Yeah.
We have the advertised
Yeah, that's why.
format.
Yeah. Was it the,
Was it the 2nd or the 4th?
I can't remember. I think it was the 4th. I know it's not the
Wednesday.
27th, it's the 4th, it was the day after.
Wednesday.
27th is a
Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
I know it's not the 27th, that was a typo. I believe that was supposed to be the 4th, but we'll send an email to everyone on that date. I believe it was the 4th.
I think it's the 4th and the 17th.
It's the 7th.
The 4th and the 17th.
Okay, we good?
Yep.
Okay.
Motion to go in executive session on legal matters pertaining to DEP.
Okay, who's second?
Second.
Now, Mr. Brewer makes the motion to go in executive session on the meeting about DEP, and Mr. Michael seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go into executive session. We will be, have to clear the room.
PowerPoint is not done on the laptop where that came from. It's done on the main, on the desktop down in the office, so that would also have to be checked, wouldn't it?
No, I get it. Yes, sir.
Because I would have copied it from the computer in the office on the drive.
What days do you usually work till later? Or what day? I guess you have keys, so you can go, right?
I can go anytime, I have keys.
How's it going, Glenn?
Still gonna.
Might be a little tough after Wednesday, I can run home here Wednesday, and then I'm gonna, go to New Jersey.
I think we got it pretty much.
I Okay, after the 10th.
Yeah, we can meet anybody. Whatever works now.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. I'll take a look at it, see if I can find anything that stands out.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if it's on the one downstairs, because that's the one where sometimes the kids get into.
Right.